Have you ever felt judged because of your appearance, accent, or the way you speak? What happened?
Hmm. Okay, that's interesting. If you'd asked me this question a few years ago before I moved to Canada, I would have said no, I don't think so.
Hmm.
But I think when we moved to Canada, my husband and I did notice that sometimes, the first impression people have of you is because when they see you, they kind of, there is this, because like a prejudice in your mind. They don't want to be out and about racist,
Yeah.
but there is something like, oh, brown person, oh, must be good in IT. They have
Yeah,
these
yeah,
things. Okay?
exactly.
Brown person, IT, did ask me that. Software? No. Okay. And then when they hear you speak English and you're not hesitating, you're not like, then
Uh-huh.
they're like, oh, you speak really well. Like everything they ask you, right, is
Yeah.
little like, like I didn't know about that. So I feel like this used to happen quite often. And I think I've spoken about this in the previous podcast. Is our first job in Canada was in McDonald's. So I
Oh.
feel like when they see an Indian person working in a McDonald's abroad, their assumption is that, oh, so, may not be too educated, may not be doing like, there's again a presumption more than an assumption over here.
Oh, yeah.
But the minute you start speaking, they're like, oh, then I'll go like, I would get this question, oh, why are you working at a McDonald's? Right? Like that is the next question now. So I would sometimes feel like
Yeah.
there is not judgment, there is so much assumption
Yeah.
happening here.
They
Just
already have some kind of perception about Indians or brown skin that, like they come like, if you go to a foreign country, they already know or they have a belief that, oh, this person is here to study or something, they're migrating, or maybe he's
exactly.
illegal immigrant or something, and he's just working between jobs to pay the bills.
Right.
So yeah, exactly. I can,
So they put
and this is
all of us.
something more so in the West, of course.
Yes, I think, it is really like a white, a country problem sometimes, they just have this thing. And some of them who are not trying to be racist also, they have this, white savior complex
Uh,
where they go like, oh my God, it's so sad. Like they would like hear some of the story and they go like, oh, I'm so sorry that you had to come from India and you have to work at a McDonald's right now. And my thing is like, don't worry. Like, you don't have, I don't need your empathy or sympathy right now.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
and
yeah.
but then when they hear you being articulate, right, or speaking and speaking maybe mostly better than them, so then they're also taken aback. So I would get this question quite a lot. Wow, you speak English quite well. And first a few times, right, I was so surprised. I was like, oh, thank you. That's the first thing you would do. Somebody compliments you. Over a period of time, saying that I'm living there and working there, I realized that no, they don't know we are good. So they're not complimenting me. They're showing surprise that I am good at this.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
then,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
like so it's not like, oh wow, you're so good. It's like, how are you so good? Right. So then I think,
Good.
they just, they don't be assume again, like I said, right? So
Yeah.
they don't expect you to be this person. So I always go like, oh, thank you so much. Your English wasn't bad either. Right. So that is like a thing, like not trying to be rude, but just letting you know that, oh, you think my English is good? Thank you. Your English is also pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
we are at the same level. I'm sorry if you felt like our levels were different, but they aren't. So I think, yeah. So I think for that question, I think yes, being in Canada, being in a predominantly, country filled with immigrants also and some Caucasians over there,
Mhm.
I feel like, yes, you do get judged on your skin color, how you look. And then, so you have to slightly work harder at impressing.
Mm. Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
You have
true,
to
true,
put
true.
that extra steps in impressing someone, like your normal charisma into 10 you have to do. Like in India, say you speak a certain way, you
Yeah,
walk,
it's normal.
people go like, oh wow, Rahul, okay, I saw him. Yeah, he's very charismatic. I like what he was doing. But over there, you have to work doubly hard because now I have to break your preconceived notions. I
Mm.
have to now let you know that I'm Indian. I'm not in IT. I'm not in tech, but yet I'm articulate enough. Yet, like I think you have to slowly and slowly progress. So it's like
So,
a
so you, so I'll say that. Sorry to interrupt. So you
yeah.
think that their demeanor changes once you start speaking?
Absolutely, absolutely. Like the minute you start speaking, okay, in a certain way with confidence. Again, let me tell you something. Yeah, when I say start speaking, right, it's not about the vocabulary, it's not about the grammar. Because I used to see some Indian students who've come from small villages in India,
Uh huh.
and they would be so confident. So I realized something. It is about how confidently you approach someone. Your
Exactly,
demeanor is so
exactly.
important.
Yeah.
Right? If you go only like, hi, excuse me, the Indians are kind of used to doing that. Even our emails are like that, right? Rahul, you would have noticed it. Hi, so sorry to inconvenience you, or hope this is going well.
Yeah.
Right? And I remember this that my program coordinator was like, Sonika, why do you always start your email with an apology? And I was like, okay, she was like, it's my duty. I'm your program coordinator. Okay. You're not bothering me. My job is to be here for you. So I feel
Yeah.
like that is how sometimes we Indians can just be a little,
Yeah,
small,
yeah.
yeah,
Okay, 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 yeah.
shrink our
Shrink.
personality.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And then I to just to be approachable. And then we realize that you don't have to be that. So that I realized that, you know what, it's okay. Let the other person do some work also in a conversation, right? Let them also meet you halfway. So I think that was like a learning curve. But once I learned it, I feel like I felt better.
All right, good. Now I would like you to ask me a question.
Okay. Okay, this is a good one. So, in your opinion, what qualifies what qualities make someone genuinely charismatic and memorable?
So whenever we come across the word charisma, we always
Mm,
think of somebody loud. And
mm,
he's like occupied completely, like he's
mm.
like he has this certain aura, like, oh,
Correct.
I'm somebody big who's come into the crowd, and you better step down. Let me be in the spotlight and everything. But as I've seen, being an English teacher, I've seen that's not really the case, because whenever you speak, that is what makes you charismatic. And over here I'm saying, like, authenticity, your
Correct.
personality is much more thing than just being loud.
I absolutely agree.
Yes, because you have to be approachable. It shouldn't be like, oh, I feel so scared to talk to him.
Mm.
That will make you feel like, oh my god, he's just untouchable in a
True, true, true.
supremacistic way.
True.
And people should not have a kind of like a superiority complex towards you. And
Agree.
even like when I'm talking to someone, I should not make them feel inferior.
100%. I
So
completely agree with that.
yeah, so I think for the word charisma should be more associated with confidence and how genuine and authentic you are, rather than just being maybe like fake on the face, or
Mhm.
just like have this illusion that he is charismatic.
Correct. Sometimes it happens, right? You meet someone, and for the first few minutes, you're in awe because of that the big boldness, somebody who
Yeah.
comes and occupies the entire room. But within a few minutes, you realize that there isn't much metal over here. There's only
Yeah,
like a lot of talk.
absolutely, absolutely, yeah.